That's not, at least not on natural food sources and stuff. So, and if you can see, that was back in 2008. That sign is different. This is on McDonald's. I just saw I went, hey, that's different now. So, get down to it. Coyotes are in your area, and we're going to talk about some of the things that people have concerns about, and hopefully we can answer all of your questions, comment, and then we'll open it up for comments and questions at the end. Okay. Coyotes are a highly social animal. Packs are made up of non-breeding offspring from this year and could be from last year as well. Okay. This social structure is mainly for the defense of food or territory. Okay. The pack formation and size of that pack is determined entirely by the available food sources. If you've got a lot of food out there, you're going to have a lot of coyotes. Okay. More food means less competition. And less likelihood that the adult female and adult male are going to push the young out at the end of the year. It's probably in their best interest to keep mainly to keep other coyotes out, from raiding the kitchen. Okay. Some of the problems associated with urban coyotes, some disease concerns, mange, distemper, other canine diseases. People always have concerns about rabies. Your vaccinated pets are not at risk, even with mange and stuff, though. It depends on the type of mange and stuff, though. There is an oral vaccination or oral treatment and stuff like this. How many people have seen that episode on the chupacabras on Discovery? That looks familiar, doesn't it? Okay, yeah, pretty much just a mangy coyote. Okay. These are the things I deal with are cats and small dogs and concerns, overwhelmingly, as far as the problems associated with coyotes in a neighborhood. I don't know about you, but I think that cat's got other problems. That cat's probably looking for the nearest coyote to give himself up. Kill me now, One thing, when it comes to keeping our pets safe, and I know this is kind of a joke stuff though, but I think the bottom line here is keep your cats indoors. A lot of studies that are out there and stuff though that show that cats live at least 50% longer lives if they're indoor cats. It comes down to what you think their quality of life is, I guess, and I get that. But there rarely goes a week when I don't drive to work and don't see a cat splattered on the side of the road. Okay, and there are other things that can take advantage of cats that are out roaming the neighborhood. Okay. We can disguise our pets. A coyote won't eat a toad. Okay, so maybe that's the thing. They know that those toads secrete that toxin that's going to make them all silly. So. Some other solutions. I'm pretty sure this was reported to the department as a mountain lion. So when it comes to cats and small dogs and their safety, there really is no substitution for supervision. Keep them indoors, keep a watchful eye on them if they are outdoors. If they have to be outside unsupervised, we recommend something like a dog run or a pet run or something like that. Okay, because the more times that these animals are outdoors, unsupervised, you're kind of rolling the dice. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about the coyote roller. There's ways to keep a coyote out of your yard. I was talking to a woman that lived on the Camelback Golf Club. She, the doorbell rang. It was her cleaning lady. The dogs were going nuts, stuff though. She let the dogs out and went and answered the door. Went to go get the dogs. Came back, went outside, and there was a Harris hawk that had killed one of her dogs. And she knew that they roosted there, and stuff though. But and people think that my dog's too big for an owl or hawk to fly away with it. Well, that's probably the case. But they don't have to fly away with it and stuff though. They can kill it and consume it right there and stuff though. So, coyote roller works very well keeping coyotes out. They're not going to work on a hawk or an owl. Okay. Walking your dog. Keep dog on a leash. How many people saw that gentleman's dog was tore up by the javelina last week? When he says, "Oh, my dog came running back all bloody and stuff though." I'm like, running back, you know. It tells me the dog was off the leash, okay. But, you know, keep your dogs on a leash. You know, there's a leash law in Arizona. Be aware of your surroundings, you know. I know it's not easy to do, but if you can avoid walking along big oleander hedgerows like that, you know, do it. Or, you know, flashlight or something like that, you know, make some noise. If you can, walk in groups, buddy system, okay. Carry a walking stick, use it, make yourself appear larger, okay. But if you do encounter a coyote, again, unless you can run 40 miles an hour, don't run. One interesting thing, you know, if you do run from a coyote, or you're walking your dog and you and your dog are running from a coyote, that can invoke that predator-prey chase response. How many people have pets here? Okay, you know, dogs, you know, even now that have been bred for thousands of years, you run a string in front of them, gotta get it, you know, or the laser pointer, you know, they gotta get it. That's instinct, okay. And now we're talking about a truly wild animal, okay? I mean, they've got that instinct, okay? So that can invoke that chase response, okay? So what you want to do is you want to stand your ground, okay? If you have small dogs, you want to pick them up. If you've got big dogs, you want to, you know, pull that leash close, keep them tight. Make that coyote focus on you, okay? Most instances, and we'll talk about reasons why coyotes attack people, but they're not, right, if they're coming after that little dog and stuff though, they don't care about you, okay? And there's reasons for that too that will change that behavior. But you want to be aggressive toward these animals, okay? You want to be talking low, loud tones. You know, try to make yourself appear big, okay? You don't want to scream, high-pitched screams and stuff though. That can also evoke that predator response and stuff though. Hunters actually go out and call coyotes in by using wounded animal sounds. Okay, so low, loud tones, okay, and make eye contact and be aggressive towards them. If you can grab something, a handful of rocks, pepper them with it, use what you can. But if you don't make that animal run away, he just learned that you're not a threat, okay, and you're not helping yourself or your neighbors, okay. Then we'll talk about some chemical deterrents, pepper sprays and things like that too. You know, if a coyote's going to breach that, you know, zone where you feel comfortable spraying him, you know, let him have it. You know, if you got pepper spray. Pepper spray is very effective at close range. Can, you know, affect you as well, okay? But doing some of these other things that we'll talk about, you'll probably never need, if we're doing those things, okay, and we're changing coyote behavior, we'll never need to use pepper spray at that close range, okay? Talking about children and adult safety, again, you know, I say children should be supervised, and you would think, you know, that just off the top of my head, you'd think that a toddler down on the ground looking like, you know, a small animal on hands and knees would actually be, you know, an attractant, so to speak, okay? Well, hopefully I'm not the one that has to tell people with toddlers to watch their kids, but to put it in perspective, you know, again, and then coyotes, you know, really just don't go after adults, okay? Or, you know, standing upright, we don't look like a food source. But since 1997, we've had 18 coyote incidents where coyotes have either bit, scratched, you know, basically attacked a human. It's actually more adults in there than kids. Worst case scenario for a coyote bite, someone had to have 4 or 5 stitches, okay? And then kind of to put it in perspective, every year Maricopa County Animal Care and Control reports well over 5,000 dog bites on people, okay? And those are just the ones that are reported. Those are not the ones where people get bit by their own dog. And basically it would be serious enough for someone to seek medical treatment, okay? Or report it directly to them, okay? If it's a neighbor's dog or something like that, okay? And how many people have seen the verdict today on Mickey? Yeah, Mickey gets to live with some, he has to walk a tight line, but again, those are serious injuries, from domestic dogs, animals that have been bred around people for thousands of years, okay? So, you're probably 1,000 times more likely to get bit by your own dog or neighbor's dog. And again, we've never had anyone killed by a coyote in Arizona. Whereas, at least maybe once a year, once every couple of years, someone's actually died from a domestic dog bite. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind and stuff though when you're dealing with coyotes. Okay, hopefully that eases some tension a little bit. Okay, and it never even has to get to that point either. Okay, let me back up real quick. Of those 18 coyote incidents, okay, we know for a fact 15 of those people were actually feeding coyotes. Okay, a couple years in 2012. How many people remember the 3 people that were bit within 48 hours up at Trilogy at Estancia? These coyotes, okay, one woman was napping, another guy was reading his book, another guy was reading the newspaper. Okay, basically same time of day. Coyote came up and nipped at him and ran. Okay. That tells me that whoever was feeding them, it was all on the patio. So it tells me that whoever was feeding them probably wasn't around, maybe went on vacation or something like that. But that was normal coyote behavior, or normal behavior for that coyote to come up and look for the handout, and he was getting rewarded for it. Okay. So we came in and we killed 6 coyotes. Okay. Got probably most likely the defending animal on the last day. So now what? Okay, we back up. This is actually a gentleman that actually broke up his own dog's fight. Deep puncture wounds. Lots of antibiotics, very painful. You can see the logo there. I wanted to hide his face there, so I promised him I would. So see, and all so that would even get reported, as a dog bite, even if it was own, because he had to go through medical care. Okay, so what can we do? Well, we can remove coyotes. Coyotes are hunted year-round outside of the valley here, and there's really been absolutely zero impact on the population. Okay, kind of put in perspective, people usually don't go too far to hunt. This is probably somewhere in the Midwest and stuff. He's probably not impacting the coyote population. So if you want to start removing coyotes, keep in mind it's going to be a long-term thing, and I don't know if you'll ever remove all the coyotes from the valley here. Okay. Most people say, well, why can't we just trap them and take them to Flagstaff? And I don't know why Flagstaff gets the bad rap and why they need coyotes. But I like Flagstaff. But and people say, why doesn't the agency do that? Okay. Well, one is you start taking animals, that could be diseased. Okay. Canine distemper, for example. Canine distemper can wipe out javelina populations. New home versus home sweet home. How many people would like for me to take their credit cards, their ID, and drop them in a country where they don't know the language? It's going to be stressful, correct? Okay. So, just from being in a trap, put in a new location, animals, their resistance can be worn down and stuff. Though they can die slowly, they get pushed around. There's really no unoccupied territory, so to speak. At least no place that would be good. If it's good habitat, guarantee there's coyotes there. Okay. Again, so we're dealing with stress-related deaths, and then even removing those coyotes, we've seen. For example, we've seen coyotes come back, and we've seen actually the problems get actually just as bad as before. Way back when in 2008, when I was here, actually Chief Winterstein actually spoke on this comment and stuff though, that he had a trapper come in a community here in Paradise Valley, and they removed 22 coyotes from a community in like a 6-month time frame. Within 6 weeks, they were seeing coyotes again. And within 6 months, the problem was just as bad as it was before. Okay, so you had a real, they just flew back in. So we're going to talk about some of the things that we can do. If you want to do trapping and removal, that's an option. Okay, it's not a very good long-term option unless you do a lot of other things. You can have, if you want to remove coyotes, stuff though, and you're doing all these other things, you'll have a longer time frame before you see the problems again. Okay, but coyotes will be here. Okay. There's people that actually feed coyotes, and like I said, of those, that's why it's illegal, because that's where the aggressive behavior happens. Okay, so we're going to talk about how we fix the problem, and some of the short-term solutions. Removal of these animals by licensed professional. Chris Fitzgerald with Critter Getter is here. He may want to speak. If you want to speak a little bit later, we may answer some questions or something. We, as an agency, Arizona Game and Fish Department gives them a license to be able to do this. They can live trap on private property. We recommend that they euthanize all adult coyotes, mainly because really no place to put them. We were actually doing some research in the late 90s. in Indian Bend Wash. They were taking coyotes, trapping, tagging them, putting VHF collars on them, VHF collars. They were taking them on the backside of Four Peaks Mountain down towards Roosevelt Lake. 7 years later, a coyote was hit and killed on the road in Chandler. Still had the collar on it. So that animal went a long ways. Okay. So again, as far as largely ineffective, as far as trapping and removal and those kinds of things. We did provide a list of license holders. Okay. So that is an option for you. Some other short-term solutions and stuff though, when we are dealing with aggressive animals, we're talking about animals that are baring their teeth, growling, coming towards people. Okay. And certain in the absence of a food source. Okay, if you're out there walking your dog, you get a coyote growling at you, it has nothing to do with you. Don't take it personally. Okay, if they want that dog or they want your cat or something like that. Okay, but if you're out there by yourself and you got coyotes following you, growling, coming close to you, we want to know about it. We want to know about it as soon as possible. In those cases, we're going to come in and we're going to kill coyotes until we feel the situation is relieved. Okay, so whether we do it or Chris does it, okay. It's a Band-Aid, okay? Without changing those underlying issues as to reasons why those coyotes got aggressive in the first place, okay? The other coyotes that move in, okay, and think about where you're at in Paradise Valley. You got coyotes all around you, okay? You're not getting coyotes fresh from the desert that are scared of people. You're getting coyotes from over here at Cat